STTM here, and in today's video, we have our official 2025 March Madness predictions. So yeah, guys, I'm just hyped, so that might have been why I sounded excited. But yeah, I'm excited to fill out this bracket. So yeah, guys, but before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, put on notifications, and comment on the video, as it lets me know what you think, gets me more recommended, and if you put on notifications, you will literally be updated on the latest STTM videos that you just don't want to miss. And I'll just appreciate it. So, enough with the Japanese, and let's get straight into the video. Bow! All right, let's go. First, start off with this game. By the way, first four literally starts Tuesday, March 18th, which is when I'm recording this and when this video is going to get published. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, St. Francis, I think, is actually going to beat Alabama State. Kind of went on and off about that, and I don't really know much people who predict the first four games, and I kind of went on and off about that, but I decided to pick St. Francis. And then Auburn is going to win that. Louisville and Creighton, I'm going with Creighton, man. I mean, Louisville is a very strong team, don't get me wrong, but Creighton, I like Ryan Kalkbrenner's experience in March. They're going to get that win. Texas A&M, Yale, I'm actually going to go with double upsets here. 5 seeds are cursed, and I do not like Michigan's chances versus UC San Diego. I've seen a bunch of scenarios. UC San Diego is going to want Michigan, is going to want a team like Michigan. Michigan is horrible when it comes to turnovers. They always get the ball stolen from them. And UC San Diego is great when it comes to getting steals. So that defensive thing is going to be a big factor for UC San Diego. And I think Yale is going to beat Texas A&M because despite literally no Danny Wolf this time because he's all the way at Michigan, right? I think they can still pull it off. They got John Poulikaitis, Bezin Bang, Nick Townsend, very talented crew. I think they're going to get an upset victory over the Aggies. Ole Miss will beat the winner of UNC and San Diego State. I got San Diego State winning that game. And let's now just do Ole Miss. I feel like Ole Miss, they got nice veteran presence. I like that. Iowa State and Lipscomb. Lipscomb could shock a bunch. They could break a lot of brackets, but I just don't see it. Iowa State is going to end up winning. Marquette, New Mexico. I got Marquette. I've done New Mexico in other brackets, but I think I'm starting to change my mind. I don't know. I mean, I like Donovan Dent, and I like that big man they have. I can't remember the name, but they got a solid big. And I like Donovan Dent, but I like Cam Jones and crew a lot in March. But their run's going to come really short. Michigan State and then Iowa State. And then Iowa State's going to head to the Elite Eight. They have a really loaded roster. They're going to do very well. Auburn's going to beat UC San Diego, and then Auburn and Iowa State. I got Auburn pulling it out of that region. Now we're going to go to the Florida-Norfolk State game. Florida, UConn and Oklahoma. This is really close, but okay, we're going to go with Oklahoma. UConn, very talented roster, but they're just not the same. Dan Hurley's still doing a nice job, but I like Jeremiah. I like that kid, Jeremiah Fears and crew. I think they're going to perform very well in March. Memphis, Colorado State. I'm going to go with Colorado State upset. I like Nick Clifford. I like their overall roster more than Memphis's. Memphis got some nice guys like PJ Haggerty, Dane Danger, Tyrese Hunter. But I do like Colorado State a little more for this matchup. Maryland, Grand Canyon. Got to go with the Crab 5. Maryland's going to win. Missouri, Drake. I'm going to go with Drake to pull off the upset. Drake, very solid roster, very talented roster. I like that team a lot. Bennett Sturts especially has been playing very well. Arkansas is built better than Kansas, so they are going to pull off a win. And then Rick Pitino and St. John's are going to win. And it's going to be Rick Pitino off to the Sweet 16. Then Florida, Maryland. And then I'm going to go with Florida versus Texas Tech. And my dark horse Final Four team, Texas Tech. I don't know. I like that squad. They got JT Toppin and Darian Williams, 2 future NBA players. That they've been playing very well together as a duo. I also like Chance McMillan and Christian Anderson. They have a very strong core. They're my dark horse Final Four team. American, Mount St. Mary's. The winner is definitely American, but that's not going to do anything because they're going to have Duke. And I think Duke, they could still be a very solid team without Common Malawak because they're still going to have Common They're going to be very solid. Oh my God, I got to correct myself. They're going to be a very solid team without Cooper Flag because they're going to have Common Maluwak, Isaiah Evans, Sion James, Caleb Foster, Darren Harris even. He doesn't play that much, but he's still very solid. Con Nepal. I don't know, man. That roster, it's very loaded. They did very well in the offseason building up that roster. Give me them to advance. And Mississippi State and Baylor, I like Baylor's crew. I like Norchad Omier and Jeremy Roach, and I also like their youth phenom in BJ Edgecombe. Oregon Liberty, I'm going with Oregon, and I'm also going to go with Arizona. I feel like this region is going to be pretty chalk. I could see Akron and Liberty upsetting, but I feel like Arizona and Oregon, they play pretty well. Arizona is playing very well as a recent, and Oregon, they're playing very well as a recent as well. BYU, VCU, I would want to go with VCU, but Igor Demon, Kenan Catchings, and Fuseni Traore and crew, they're cooking. BYU, they're going to win. I think Wisconsin's pretty overrated, but I really don't see a crazy upset with Montana. St. Mary's, Vanderbilt. I'm going with the Vanderbilt upset. St. Mary's, they play pretty good ball, but I feel like they can ruin a lot of brackets if you pick them, and especially if they're a 7 seed, they're known to ruin a couple brackets. All right, now let's go to Duke and Baylor. Duke, Arizona, BYU, and then Alabama. I would want to see the basketball version of the crazy football Vandy over Bama upset, but I don't know, man. Bama basketball has been on the rise. They're actually really talented. I like that team a lot. But I'm actually going to go with another upset. BYU onto the Elite Eight, and then I got Duke headed to the Final Four. They're probably going to get Cooper Flag back at some point, but they could still win a couple games with Common Maluwak and everybody else in the lead. Next up, Houston and SIU Edwardsville. We're going to go Houston. And then Gonzaga, Georgia. I'm going to go with, to be honest, I've been thinking about Gonzaga a lot. I did use that for one bracket, but I'm starting to change my mind. I'm going with Georgia. I mean, the West Coast Conference this year, it's not the same where, like, Gonzaga is super high, and then St. Mary's is also in a pretty good spot in the rankings. Instead, it's just St. Mary's is in a good spot in the rankings, and Gonzaga, like, they struggle. They've been playing well as a recent, but I'm going to go with Georgia. That's a really 50-50 game, though, so you could really go either way. That's a lot of the 8-9 and 7-10s. Clemson, McNeese, I would go with McNeese, but I'm not going to fall for that trap. I'm pretty sure I had them as an upset pick in my last March Madness, but no. It's Clemson this time, guys. Purdue, High Point, Purdue, 100%. Winner of Illinois, Texas. Texas is going to win, but I don't think that's going to do anything for the Fighting Illini. Give me Illinois, very well-rounded roster. I'm going with Troy. I think that's going to be the crazy upset because Oakland with Jack Golke, right? They were the team that beat Kentucky last year. But something weird about Kentucky, I don't really know if Mark Pope has been to that many March Madness, has appeared in many March Madnesses. I do not know that. So I might be going with the crazy upset, but Kentucky could still win. Kentucky just seems to be the team that gets the big upset every year, but I'm going to go with Troy. I think that could happen again. UCLA, Utah State. I'm going with Utah State, and then Tennessee is going to pull off that win. Pretty obvious pick for Tennessee there, but Utah State, I got them. I like Ian Martinez and crew. Very solid roster. Next up, Tennessee, Utah State. I'm going to go with Tennessee, and then we're going to go with Illinois, and then Illinois off to the Elite Eight, and then Houston, Clemson, and then I'm going to actually go with the Clemson, Illinois Elite Eight there. I like Houston. I think they're a very solid team, but I've done a lot of research. There's a lot of different facts about the previous winners, and Houston does not seem to be in any of those facts. So, no Houston. And then Illinois is going to pull off a crazy run. That's going to be another dark horse team. And then I think it's going to be Auburn versus Duke. And I got Duke. Cooper Flag is going to come back. I like Auburn a lot, but I don't know if I could trust them to win a championship after that Yale upset. I still think they can go very far, though, because this roster seems a lot better. But we're going to still take the Duke Blue Devils to win. Duke playing great basketball. They're going to get Cooper Flag back. They have a nice roster. It's been built up very well. Give me the Duke Blue Devils. So yeah, guys, that was STTM's bracket. I had Duke winning. I think some of you guys watching this will also have Duke winning. But just let me know what you think in the comments below. As STTM is now out. See y'all next time. Road to 500 subs.